Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to our Saturday sports fantasy show. Um, a lot of things, a lot of more injuries to report, bye weeks and so forth. But we do have Worldwide Reg back in the States this morning. Reg, how you doing, man?
Man, I cannot complain, man. Back in from my foreign travels, ready to talk this fantasy. I actually did pretty good, man. I had some of my best fantasy weeks I had while being overseas. So man, maybe I need to go back over there so I can have a little bit better luck over there.
Oh man, hey man, what happened at the sports kid? We don't even get a fairs or nothing. I mean, oh man. So I saw you send some pictures back there. So how was the trip, man?
Amazingly life-changing trip. It changes your perspective when you actually go to meet people, see people, whether it's in the States or whether you're traveling abroad, meeting other humanity and kind of other cultures, and immersing yourself in those cultures can be very educational. So this trip was no less. I would say that it's a strenuous trip. So for people who are asking me like where I would like rank it in trips, for me, it's the top trip I've ever taken because I'm very interested in Egyptian culture. And that's a major caveat I have to put out there, James. It's a major caveat. So in order for this trip to remotely be worth it for you, you're going to have some interest in the Egyptian culture. That used to be my favorite section in museums. To go check out the Egyptian section. So I decided to go to Egypt, and it's amazing for any Egyptian pyramid, tomb. I was raiding tombs, all that stuff, and it was great.
Okay. So did you have to get out of the city per se, or?
Yeah, you have to, because nothing is in Cairo. So you go to Cairo. Cairo is an amazing city to be in because it's a mega city. 20 to 40 million people there. It's on any given day. So it's an incredible city. I liked being in Cairo because that's where our hotel was. But if you're going to go to like the sites, so if you're going to go to Giza where the pyramids are, it's about 35 minutes. If you're going to go, we took a day trip to a place called Fayum, where there's kind of like an oasis. It's like a lake in the middle of the desert. It's beautiful out there in the middle of the Sahara. So that's a day trip. When you go to Luxor Temple, Karnak Temple, the place, or Valley of the Kings, where the kings and stuff are buried, King Tut and all that stuff is, then you got to fly to Luxor. You got to fly, and it's much hotter in Luxor. It's like 97 degrees out there. So that's another thing. You're going to be standing in lines. It's going to be hot when you're going into the tombs, or if you choose to go into the pyramid, which I did choose to do, you can go into the Great Pyramid of Giza. They allow you to go in and climb up to the burial chamber in there, which I did. But it was rough. It was extremely, extremely physically taxing. So I would say just prepare for all that. If you want to do everything, you can go in to see the pyramids and take pictures of them and have that be fine. You don't necessarily have to go in. But those sites, when you see them, they're amazing. They're breathtaking in person.
Economically,
one of the cheaper trips, man. One of the cheaper trips I've taken because I was going to Egypt, where the GDP isn't as big as like places like France and stuff like that, where you're gonna pay. You go to Paris, you're gonna pay. So economically, the cheapest trip. Maybe that's why I love it so much as well. Korea was expensive. Korea is expensive. Spain, France, expensive.
Oh yeah. All right, well, let's talk some fantasy. So how did you do last week?
Very well, man. Out of all my leagues, I'm in about 6 total. I went 5-1. Had the best week I've ever had, I think, last week. 5-1. And won our league too. Our league that you have yet to win there, James. Our DraftKings league. I'm gonna keep talking it to you until you can get a win out here. Everybody's got to win. And Chris got to win. He told me. Chris is like, hey, I got to win while you're away.
Yeah. Hey, my guys are falling like flies. I lost Scatterby now.
That's a major. Me too. I lost him he got me a touchdown right before he left, but
he's gone for the rest of the season. I still haven't got Bucky Irving back. Uh, 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 who else I got here? All my 49ers, are gone now. That I had. We still haven't got Purdy back. I mean, this season has really been, kind of up and down. Like I said, I think you guys tricked me in that one league. You gave me Saquon Barkley, and I also got Derrick Henry. And up until last week, I might have had Ralph Edwards and Bugs Bunny, but things are looking back. Let me tell you, what league was this? And this was a hard loss for me. Okay, it was a where is this league? I believe, yeah, last week in the Extraordinary Gentleman. All right,
My favorite league, by the way, my absolute favorite team that I have.
Okay, I lost last week. Guess what the score was?
What score?
I had 72.66. The winner had 72.86.
Man, how are you guys even competing with those scores? Wait, I would have destroyed both of you guys.
Of course you would have. But I mean, 0.20.
I mean, that's those anything under a point is just devastating to me. I mean, you really probably can go like within a point or two, but fantasy is very much a league or a situation where you can lose by a small amount. You can lose by a small amount. It can be 0.15, and it will ruin your life. That 0.15, and you'll think about it all the time. Like, what could have went different if I could have just got one more catch? And this person could have fell forward for a couple more yards, or you start to go through all the things in your head. It's part of fantasy.
Scatterboo hadn't got hurt, right?
Scatterboo gave you that touch. I think Scatterboo got double digits, man, before he got out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I think he gave
a parting gift for you fantasy guys here,
yeah.
man. What things to be. I like Scatterboo coming in. Hope he heals up pretty fast.
Oh no, he's definitely got a hope for rehab now. He got one of those.
Yeah. Is it surgery? Surgery, right?
Oh yeah, he's already had surgery. It was one of the bones in his foot. I think it was that ankle heel area.
Okay.
But yeah, he's out. He's gone for 6 to 8 months. So. Yeah, but hey, the Giants were rolling. At least he was. So another surprise last week. Broncos. Broncos players did very well last week. And what about them Colts?
Every Bronco player except my guy, bro. Like except Sutton. Sutton is my guy, and I was waiting for Sutton. But I have no knocks on Sutton. Sutton's been a very good floor play for me. Sutton's been a solid floor because even in games where it seems like he's a scrub, he's at least got me 7-8. I play in a half PPR in my home league, so that would probably been double digits in a PPR league.
Yeah, I have Sutton in a couple of leagues also.
He's been respectable for me, man, all season.
Yeah, well,
he's respectable.
So is Knicks.
Yes, absolutely. I thought Knicks was going to be. I anticipated that for Knicks. I've been a Bo Nix truther on this show in SPORTSKRIB here for the last year or so. So I'm a fan. That whole Bo Nix, Drake May situation, even with Jackson Dar, all those kids I like.
What about some guys that we had very high hopes for? And a lot of this is, not necessarily their fault per se, but they've lost quarterbacks. Justin Jefferson, who's dependable when he has somebody that's throwing to him, but who's throwing to him now? We're back to J.J. McCarthy. My boy Wentz is out for the season.
Yeah, I think Wentz is out, right?
Yeah, he's at shoulder surgery. He's gone. You have what's his what's the guy that's taking Purdy's place in San Francisco?
Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Mac Jones has been respectable. Like if Mac Jones, if you've had to start guys with Mac Jones there, depending on what week you started, like I have Kittle in our Extraordinary Gentleman League, and I feel like I feel like he's acceptable. Like he's
better now. He's better now with Kettle back in the lineup. But now you have Purcell's is out. You still I mean it's still kind of McCarthy a bust.
Yeah, sure. I feel like it was like that. They pushed as soon as you sent away Darnold, it was McCarthy or bust, really, right? Like you pushed all your chips into the McCarthy table, into the middle of the McCarthy table as soon as you let go of Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. Remember, they had both.
Right. How crazy is that? Guys are just like on winning teams right now. Now they're looking for their Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones. Now they're looking for them. That's how Cleveland looking for their Baker Mayfield. Awesome.
Speaking of Daniel Jones, 7-1. You got
man.
You got what? 8 touchdowns from Taylor in the last 3 games.
They're looking incredible, man. I'm wondering because I never trust, and I'll say this on other shows. I never trust warm weather football, man. I never trust those first 8-9 games, man. I got to see how teams are gonna be in this last. So you're a good first half. This has been good, and I'm not saying that they could fall off. It's not like Daniel Jones has played in cold weather. It's not like he comes from just playing in Florida or somewhere. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying they're going to fall off. But it's a situation where just in football, it's hard for me to trust those September, October teams, James. It's all about who's getting hot in those November teams, in my opinion. Like those.
What about teams that play in a dome? Do you think that they have a distinct advantage?
No, I think you have a disadvantage. I think you have a disadvantage in the sense that you can only play in dome at your house. So if you're winning, that's great. But if you're ill prepared then to go to like Buffalo in a winter, or you're ill prepared to go to some of these outdoor teams that are used to playing in these elements and practicing in these elements and being out in these elements, you could try to simulate them when you go. But I think if you're a dome team, you're used to playing a dome, that's great for about 8-9 games. And you might not even get those with international. You might not even get that anymore. But it's good for those teams. But I think that great teams can play inside, outside, because you're going to be playing inside and outside eventually. You got to see those teams. You can look at that winter schedule and see how many domes you got on there. I mean, that's probably something you can do.
Speaking of some dome teams, Detroit is looking very good.
Yeah, I have a lot of Detroit, man. I have somebody in my league. Speaking of Detroit, it's crazy, man. Some of my league had dropped David Montgomery. I could not believe it. I picked David Montgomery off the waivers in my home league, and I had to roast some of my league mates for it. Like, what are we doing here? This guy, David Montgomery, 95% rostered on the waivers in my league. I picked him up. I picked him up just now, or a couple of days ago.
I know that wasn't in any of the SPORTSKRIB leagues.
No, it was in no other league, as a matter of fact, except my home league. And I would look and see, like, are you crazy? But yeah, I definitely was able to pick him up. And the only reason I would hesitate not to start him, because I'm thinking about starting him this week, because I have a really big, I don't know what your opinion is on this, of Charbonnet or Montgomery. My problem with Montgomery, Yahoo says to start Montgomery, but the problem is with that is I already have Gibbs on the team. So I kind of got Montgomery for one because he's on the waiver. So of course I'm going to get him. You know what I mean? But at the same time, maybe like a premium cuff option. If I was to put him in, would you start them in the same game? Would you start Gibbs and Montgomery in the same lineup if you had a Charbonnet or a Willie Marks or something like that? Somebody else you could put in that spot.
as much as I hate to say it, because I'm a Montgomery fan. As a fan, I would love to start Montgomery and Gibbs, but as a fantasy player, I think I would have to start Charbonnet.
Yeah, I just think that I don't want to overload. I don't like overloading on teams, and I have Gibbs. So I don't want to overload on Lions. So let's say I didn't have Gibbs, I would start Montgomery.
Yeah, if you didn't have Gibbs, but you have to start Gibbs.
Correct.
No way. I mean,
Gibbs is the must start. So Gibbs is the 100% start. Montgomery's the maybe start. I got Charbonnet, and I really like the kid Marks, to be honest with you. The kid Marks carried me last week. I got a win because of him last week. So he's ripping off 50-yard catches, man. I mean, it's kind of like, man, it's Charbonnet or Marks. Then at that point, if we beat the Montgomery, now we up to Charbonnet and Marks. We move up to a level. I still got Charbonnet in the lineup right now.
Well, but then the next, I guess my next is who's the quarterback, and then of course the offensive line. So whose offensive line do you trust? The Texans or
Seattle?
The Seahawks,
right? You know what it is more so than the offensive line for Seattle? It's that damn Kenneth Walker, man. That Kenny Walker, he can go ahead and rip him and just take the game right away from Charbonnet. Like he instantaneously just take the game away from him.
But see, and I had the same problem in some cases, because here's the thing. Charbonnet is like you guys used to have. Is it Algier that backs up?
Yes, Algier that backs up. Bijan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So last year, Bijan would take you down to the 5, and then Algier would take it in. And
that's what Montgomery's role used to be. Remember, and that's what there's somebody who made a whole career on just running over the goal line, and they got a whole new contract, and all they were doing is running over the goal line, and they got a ton of touchdowns doing that.
Right, and it seems to me that that's the same thing that Seattle does with Martin.
Charbonnet gets a lot of goal line carries.
Right, so I put in Charbonnet because he gets those goal line touches. He doesn't necessarily get a whole lot of yards, but down towards the goal line, he's that big back that that gets you in. So it's not that Kenneth Walker is a bad back. It's just the way that he's used, I think. And especially now, since that kid, Najigma is catching everything they throw.
JSN, yes. I love, by the way. JSN.
Yeah, he was a pickup that at the beginning of fantasy season, I was like, oh man, I might as well pick this guy. Now it's like, how many lineups can I get his ass in?
Right. I drafted JSN, man. Like I'm high. I was high on JSN.
Well, it wasn't so. Once again, I outthink myself, because I'm, okay, who's this quarterback? Sam Darnold. Well, what is Sam Darnold going to do? Well, Sam Darnold. I don't think many of us picked him as a primary quarterback, and most of us picked him up, if we picked him up at all, was as a backup to somebody else.
That's who I'm playing this week in my home league.
So,
I am playing against him. I'm playing against him. I have a struggle. I have too many. I got to either play Jaden Daniels or Matt Stafford. And to a lot of people, that seems crazy. They think that you playing Jaden Daniels 100%. But if you go back and look at where Matt Stafford is ranked in right now in fantasy, oh man, it's become a decision. It's a real decision. Like, am I going to play Matt Stafford, Jaden Daniels? And if you had asked me that in the beginning of the year, it's a blasphemous question. I'm going to play Jaden Daniels, rushing upside. Then Matt Stafford is having 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdown games. And I'm like, what? And I have Devontae Adams. So I can stack if I wanted to. You know what I mean? I don't have a stack for Jaden, but I do have the Devontae Adams, Matt Stafford stack. You know what I mean? So it's getting hard to pass that up.
Now you don't have a stack necessarily for Jaden, because who's out now? Scary Terry, isn't he out?
Back again? I thought Terry and Debo just came back last game.
Yeah, they did, but then Scary got injured again.
Goodness. It's always after they get the money, man. I don't know. They get that money. They get that contract worked out. That's what happened to Ayuk, remember? Ayuk got that money worked out, and then all of a sudden,
he available. He hasn't played a game this season.
Correct. It's like you get your money, and then you go sit down. I see why teams be like, oh man, they just need to pay these guys, bro. I understand, guys. I understand why they don't want to pay them. You know what I mean?
Let's talk a little bit about our favorite team. We both representing today, I see. Steelers. They're now 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have, other than Boswell, do they have
who saved me last week? By the way, thank God, Chris. Chris, you kicked me into a victory last week. You know, I had it on a couple teams, and Boswell I trust. I love having Chris. As many Steelers as I can get on my team, and unfortunately, that's the only one I can get on my team consistently. That's consistently great for me.
So, are you still high on Metcalf and Rodgers? Austin's been out most of the year. He hasn't really been effective. Gainwell has, in most cases, been our most effective back rather than Warren. And Rodgers, do we trust ayahuasca? I mean,
I know that you don't trust him. You know what I mean? I know that's a rhetorical question for you, but for yes, me, I do. Do I trust him long term, James? No, of course not, because of the age. I don't trust him long term. But do I trust him every Sunday on the field that he's there? Yeah, I trust him to at least give us a shot versus what we've had. And the thing is about if we could just get our offense together, man. Our offense always just seems mid, especially in comparison to our defense. So if we could just get it together there, we didn't really we got a lot. I feel like Metcalf is overperforming what I felt he would be. He's actually done a little bit better than I thought. But
if you're the only target, I mean,
yes, correct. And at the same time, he is the only target. There is nobody else out there, and that can be gift or curse because that means defenses are keying in on you. You're still making plays when there's not at least a secondary guy out there. But I wish we did have more skill players. Well, I mean, we have the fact that we can kind of muddle along at staying competitive without having those name brand skill players that we were used to having. Like we're used to having name brand defensive players, which we still do a lot, but we used to have multiple name brand defensive players, name brand running backs, at least one or two name brand wide receivers. We got a name brand quarterback. We have guys in skill positions. Whereas the team seems like it's just like some of its parts. It's a good team put together. They gel together. It's like looking like a good team, but it's looking like it's inferior to some of the other great team. Like, do I look at our team and say, hey, I feel like we're right there with Philly, who I think is one of the best built teams out here? Do I think no? Philly, Hal Roseman has built an amazingly great team. They have great name brand players all over the place on that team, both sides of the ball.
Here's my problem. Now, of course, everybody knows how I feel about ayahuasca, but taking that aside, it used to be if the Steelers scored 24 points, 27 points, you had your defense that keeps you in the game. Now we have a defense that gives up 30 points a game. That's
depressing, especially with the amount of capital and resources. I think the Steelers spend the most on defense in the league.
I mean, so as much as I would like to put the blame on ayahuasca, he has put points on the board. The problem is that, as I said in the beginning of the season, is that we cannot get in shootouts with these teams. because we don't have the
no, we're not equipped for shootouts.
Right. Yeah. And this week we're playing the Colts. We are playing in Pittsburgh.
Okay, I like that. Let's go get a W, man.
but 24 points against the Colts, which I would say I'm going to be generous.
Are they scoring 28-30 right now?
The Colts?
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor is, as I said, has had 8 touchdowns in the last 3 games. He had 3 touchdowns the last 2, and then 2 before that.
So are they scoring over 30 a game? I gotta look at to see what their per game average is.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's just hard to compete with. If any team is scoring 30 on average, it's just going to be hard to compete with. But I mean, it can happen. Like I'm not 100% convinced until I see the Colts continue to do this all the way throughout. Because when you look at certain teams, they just win all the time. So before I would put them, because the Colts have a great team record, a 7-1. It's a great team record. They got fantasy viable players in Alec Pierce, by the way, got me some points last week. Fantasy viable player for me. Daniel Jones, fantasy viable player. Jonathan Taylor. The defense, if you got to play defense, hasn't been terrible. So they've been a pretty good team.
Top 10.
They are getting compared to other great teams with a lot of other fantasy viable players, right? Like your Philadelphia's, your Kansas City fantasy viable players here and there. It's kind of like you like the Colts with those teams as far as their record is concerned, but do you consider the Colts to be like those teams? And I don't think so yet, because those teams have just been winning for years. Like the Eagles, the Bills, the Eagles, the Bills, the Ravens. Some of these teams, they've just been winning for years. So I would need to see a little bit more of it, but the record would say that, hey, you got to at least respect them with those other guys.
Some big games coming up this week. All right. We have Kansas City at the Bills. What you think? What's your thoughts here?
Okay, so let's see. Who would I have? I have James Cook in there. I have Josh Allen on my Bills side, right? Are we looking? Let me think if I'm looking at any other Bills players that I would be starting there. I think Khalil Shakir has been a guy on the Bills side that a lot of people have been.
He's been consistent.
He's like a streamer guy, or I wonder if he regularly being started? Because me personally, I streamed him, but I do have him on the roster, But I don't regularly start him. Keon Coleman, I think, is maybe in and out of some people's lineups. I think I started Keon Coleman maybe once or twice this entire year. So the only guys I'm really starting that lineup, any consistency on the Bills side, would be Josh Allen and James Cook. You could stream those tight ends there too, I guess, if you want to stream Kincaid. I'm not sure what his numbers have been like there. But so that's on the Bills side. And what you said, it's KC?
Yes.
Okay. So on the KC side, what's going on, Hawk?
What's going on, Reggie? Good to have you back.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. On the KC side, it's interesting because Pacheco's been kind of up and down, and I have Worthy, who's becoming absolutely nothing. Okay,
Pacheco's out this week.
That means you got. Is it a Kareem Hunt show there? Is that what they're doing right now then? Because it's kind of been a Kareem Hunt show anyway.
Well, him and Smith.
Actually, Rice has done pretty well for me.
Yeah, he's killing me because I have Xavier Worthy. So I was going to definitely speak on Worthy not being worthy of the football since Rice has been back, but I definitely have to keep running him out there. Like I've drafted Worthy too high to not run him out there. So I'm running him out there weekly, but since Rice has gotten back, that has not felt great.
Yeah, I had Hollywood Brown, so I had the same problem you do. So, in that respect, in some teams where I had Hollywood Brown, I had to get rid of him just simply because he's not getting those touches anymore. Hawk, how you doing, man?
Good. In beautiful Chicago, little Sunny today, but sunny and cold. It's the Chicago special.
Well, the last time you talked to us from Chicago, there was an echo in the room. You hadn't even moved in yet.
No, we're getting there. I actually have a couch that should be coming, and so I'm looking forward to that. We've been on a couch/bed, a hybrid from that we got off Wayfair. We got a nice one coming now, and starting to get set up. So looking forward to that.
Very nice.
We were just talking about those cold weather teams. Hawk, how do you feel? Do you think the teams that play outside have a distinct advantage, or the teams that play in the dome?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, outside can be an advantage. I feel like we've seen this enough to know that it doesn't seem to have a big impact when teams that also are at least used to some cold come. For some reason, though, it seems like every year in the playoffs, there's some team from California that goes to Buffalo in the snow and just plays abysmally because they're used to great weather all year long.
In fact, those Florida teams, it could happen to them too, man. That Miami meltdown come up there. They're good for one. But they'll melt down anywhere, though, if it's Miami. I got to say, they're probably just melting down in general.
Yeah, that team is a disaster. They've been they're just falling apart, and I feel bad. And you could just tell, like, McDaniel's knows his time is numbered, and he's
and I like McDaniel's. I don't like that, man. Man, it sucks.
It's one of the hard things about being like a young coach, right? It's like you often want to take one of the first opportunities presented, but you're still at the whim of the general manager, and often the opportunities open up because the teams are dumpster fires and just fired a coach, right? So yeah, look at Robert Saleh with New York. I don't know if Saleh's going to end up being a great coach and the head coach in the league or not, but I don't think it's fair at all to judge him by in fact, the Jets look far worse without him this year, right? Going from him to Glenn.
Yes,
so
absolutely. I never agree with the Jets firing Saleh, by the way. I thought that was crazy.
The Dolphins did fire their general manager.
They did.
Yeah.
So hopefully they hold on to Mike there. Give Mike a little bit. Because, sometimes too, you're at the whim of injuries. Tyreek's not out there. And I think there's just the way they play. Sometimes it's the way you lose, and you're just like, hey, man, we can't. We got to put up fights or something, because at certain points you just look abysmal.
Like you said, they lost Tyreek. They lost Waller's out now.
Couple great games and then IR. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As soon as I pick him up off the waivers, as soon as I get him, start on my team. Yeah.
And then look at last season too, right? It's like they. I actually thought this season's been a disaster in every way for the Dolphins. Last season, I actually thought McDaniels did a decent job. The problem is they didn't have a backup quarterback, and I don't that's not the coach's fault. I don't know what the coach is supposed to do. They ran more.
Yes,
he did exactly what you would recommend like a team without a quarterback should do. But that really is on the GM that there was no backup for Tua, a guy who's already has had multiple concussions. The fact that he goes out and you're bringing in just the absolute dregs who cannot complete a pass, that's on the GM, right?
Yeah, man.
What about the Minnesota situation there, Hawk? Now they are down. JJ has to come back, more or less. Wentz is gone. Guys that we used to trust to put up fantasy points. Jefferson, for instance. You had Aaron Jones, his return. What did he get? 40 yards, I think, something like that. I think Hawkinson has probably been a disappointment as a fantasy tight end. What's your thoughts on the Vikings, fantasy wise there, Hawk?
I think they'll be fine. JJ played beginning of the year, and it's kind of a weird situation. There's some players who are better at in the NFL than they are at fantasy, and vice versa. And you can argue that maybe McCarthy was better as a fantasy player than an NFL player. But first game of the season, he had over 20 points. Looked pretty good. Jefferson was catching passes. I think Hawkinson just doesn't have in this offense. There's too many other weapons. But JJ being back, I think that Addison and Jet will be fine. Running game's a little bit more of a mixed bag just because they kind of like lean on the hot hand between Jones and Mason. So again, they probably do fine from a running perspective as a total team, but from a fantasy perspective, can you trust those running backs it becomes a bit trickier.
49ers. What's your take on them?
Greatest team in the NFL. I don't know what's up with this, man. It's crazy. We are snake bit, but if it's I saw a stat going around like some of the Niners message boards where we've missed something like 1,000 starter games over the last like 5 seasons. Just some crazy number, and it was far and above like the second place team. So it's just hard. Is it Shanahan's style of play and what he runs? Is it just bad luck? Is our training staff the worst in the league? I don't know. It's just insane that we're this banged up, but it's a Shanahan offense, so it keeps putting up at least fantasy relevant numbers. So I think you can start whoever's in it. We'll see if it's Mac Jones or Brock Purdy this weekend. But Kittle's always going to be good. The number one receiver is going to be good, whether it's well, at least when was born. Now Jennings is there, and obviously CMC is CMC. He is quarterback proof.
Reg, you got any teams you want to talk about with the Hawk?
Well, I mean, we just spoke kind of on the Niners, which I wanted to get his take on because I know that's his team specifically. But I kind of agree with him there, and I like the Mac Jones situation. I told you the Mac Jones, I think he's trustworthy. He's proven to be, and probably just because he's a Bama guy, and I root for Bama guys all the time. But he is definitely proven at least be serviceable there as a QB. So I would ask Hawk the same question that I asked you earlier, James. I'm in a situation where I do have David Montgomery. Some crazy person in my home league had dropped David Montgomery, man. I picked him up off the waivers. I cannot believe it, but I do have him now. Problem is I don't know if I can really start him because I have Gibbs as well. So Gibbs I have to start. And then I have the flex would be Charbonnet or Montgomery here. Charbonnet or Montgomery. So if I didn't have Gibbs, I probably would be leaning towards Montgomery just to get a piece of that Detroit offense, to be honest with you, if I didn't have Gibbs already. Being that I do have a piece of the Detroit offense, do I double down on that? Do I put Charbonnet in? Leaning towards Charbonnet here myself, but what's your thoughts on that?
Man, those are just two messy situations. The Lions have certainly leaned on Gibbs a bit more this year. So last year you could easily start Gibbs or Montgomery, or even like both of them. And be in pretty good shape.
Interchangeable last year. This year
you're almost Montgomery's almost more touchdown dependent. I just kind of pulled up his game log on the side, and other than week 3 where he had 151 yards when they kind of like smashed Baltimore. 12 yards, 65 yards, 24, 21. The week he had 24, he did have 37 receiving yards, but the other weeks are all 20 yards or less receiving. So, yeah, I mean, you're kind of like going for like a bunt single with him and kind of like hoping then he gets in the end zone. But if he doesn't, and he only has 4 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns on the season. It's rough, but I mean, it's so your other option, right? I feel bad because I know your teams are really good, so you must have a lot of buys or injuries or something.
Well, I have like Charbonnet on this. My home league team is the one that sucks the most. My other teams I feel very happy about, whereas my home league team is like the redheaded stepchild. I don't really ever really talk about mostly on this show. Like I know them, like it's that kid that you maybe had with your first lover way back in the day, and you guys are in a good relationship. I know the kid, you know what I mean? And we got a good relationship, and that's my home league team. You know what I mean? Like we talk every now and then, but it's not my favorite kid. And in this particular case, I do have Charbonnet or Montgomery. I could start there in that flex. Where are you saying you're going to Charbonnet rather than doubling up on that Detroit offense?
Oh God, man! So I just pulled up. I knew that Charbonnet's not been very good this year, and that Seattle rushing game's a mess. I'm like, let me just see, because Montgomery has.
You're talking touchdown dependent, man. You're talking about Charbonnet, man.
Yeah, so Charbonnet at least has a couple more touchdowns, but his yardage. We talked about Montgomery's yardage. Charbonnet's high this year is 49 rushing. Yeah, that's gonna be. He had 48 all-purpose yards another week. Last 3 weeks
yards, 48. That's combined.
Yeah, 44, 10, and 47 total yards. Yeah, man. You are.
But he has 6 touchdowns, right?
He does have 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's because he's getting those goal line carries, man. I have a third option, which is Willie Marks. which I've loved, and I've been starting him. He kind of won me. Marks won me my league last year. Last week between Marks and Boswell were what got me over the hump in that terrible team that I have. But Marks, I saw he's questionable this week. And James brought up a good point about the offenses, the Houston offense versus the Seattle offense. I do like Seattle a little more than Houston, but Marks has just been pretty decent, man. It's hard for me to sit him.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think I lean Marks here. He's actually been getting some touchdowns too, so he does have the touchdown opportunity like the other two, but he's not quite as consistent as you like. But he has a couple just home run weeks, right? Which
that's my problem. Is missing out on that. He had 150-yard run last week. Now, the guys, if I had him on my bench and he had that 50-yard catch and he was on my bench last week, I would have been just depressed the rest of the day until I get that W. So that's my conundrum that I'm facing here this week. All my rest of my lineups look pretty good. I got through the Buy Apocalypse last week. I don't know how you guys did on the Buy Apocalypse last week, but I got through that pretty good actually.
It was a weird week. All of my leagues, I didn't have a single close matchup. All my weeks were blowouts. I slightly over 500. It's kind of sad. I'm in, like probably you guys, in so many leagues that saying slightly over 500 has like real meaning. It's not like
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
like,
yes. Are you kidding me? Yes, it does.
I went 7-4, 7-5, whatever. So yeah, but it's just crazy. There's nothing where like Sunday night, Monday, I was like watching the box score. By the time the afternoon games were starting to wind down, I'm like, okay, I know the results of every matchup already.
Wow.
Hawk, as usual, let's talk a little bit about Smash Up.
Yeah, it's been exciting over Smash Up. So season's continuing. We still have all three game types. So the weekly tournaments have been fun. We've got the leagues in our league there, and then single player. I think we've got people who've started to make it up to boss number 6. So people are getting closer to the end.
How many bosses are there, Hawk?
8 total.
8, so they're right there, chomping there. I mean, they're getting there.
Yeah, they're getting up a little quicker, and it's been trickier than we expected. Though we thought some people might have already started to finish about now, but yeah, I think the fact that this year, because all the teams are based off of like the real teams, the top 8 playoff teams from last year. If one is the Giant Crows, is based off the Ravens, we'll play 4 or 5 Ravens players in the lineup, which means like when the Ravens play well, with the correlations, it becomes actually really, really hard to beat those teams. So you either have to play really smart yourself, or you need to, have a week where maybe they play a little bit softer.
Yeah, there's some really good matchups in there. I think I'm at number 4, and they're like killing me. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. But now tell people where you are, how to find you, what the different leagues are.
Yes, if you go to smashupsports.com, it's smashupsports.com. Similar to what you can see by my name there. Yeah, that's our where we are. That's where the games are. Everything is free, so there's no entry fees. It's not gambling. There is no pay to win mechanics. You'll hear us refer to like smash cards, and I know some games that have cards or stuff. You have to like buy packs, or you have to pay for them. That's not the case here. You just have a salary cap for your players and a salary cap for your smash cards. You can think of like player props that get you extra fantasy points. And so you just have
very
to
important, guys. By the way, that's the cards. Very important, man.
Yeah. And so you just have to fit the cards into the budget, which there's all sorts of different combinations you can do depending on how you want to juice your best players. And again, there's 3 games. We've got weekly tournaments. This is just kind of DFS style, right? You're playing against anyone else who enters the tournament. Totally free. We do have some sort of small prizes for the top 3 finishers, but really it's just kind of fun to do. And then we've got leagues. So you can start a league. Cool thing, our leagues are points-based. It's not head-to-head. So that means you can have unlimited players. So we actually have a lot of companies now that we're working with. We're running their fantasy leagues. So if you're someone at a company who's like, man, it kind of sucks. We're doing Yahoo and only 12 people can be in the league, and half the people get left out, or it's getting kind of cliquish. great. You can do like a 50-person league on our platform, and we're happy to work with you and even like run it for you and do all the emails and prizes and everything, so we can take that off your plate. And we've got the single player game, which James is referencing. He's on boss number 4. And look, if your fantasy team, Reggie was talking about his home league team, we all have that team that just is biting the dust. It's just half the team's injured. We're rolling a couple of players, and it's getting to that time of year. We just know our team is not going to make it. And so if you're in that situation, but you still want to prove you've got knowledge, you know what you're doing, we've got our single player game. The way it works is almost like an old school game, like Street Fighter, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. The goal is you play 8 different, bosses or teams, and you're playing head-to-head, just like normal fantasy. You pick your players, you pick your smash cards to go up against these bosses. Each boss gets a little bit tougher to beat, and so your goal is to beat all 8 before the end of the season. So it's a ton of fun. It's doing really well. If you haven't tried it yet, get on Smash Up, give it a try, and look forward to getting your feedback.
And you got a weekly game there too. You mentioned the top 3, but the top 10 get a ticket to the tournament, right? I've got a couple top 10s. I haven't got that top 3 yet. I got a couple top 10s.
Very nice.
Yeah, we got a postseason tournament of champions, so you can qualify by finishing top 10 and weekly, or by winning the single player, beating all the bosses in the campaign. And we've got small prizes week to week, and then the tournament of champions will have a bigger prize into the season. That's usually a 2 or 3 week tournament where the scores add up during the playoffs, and it culminates around the NFC and AFC championships, because just too few players in the Super Bowl, but it's a lot of fun, and the winner actually gets a little bit more money, some real cash, so a chance to get money right around the holidays. You need to fly to see your loved ones, or you're trying to get some presents.
Very nice.
So, what's your take on the Colts there?
Man, they're not stopping. It's fun. I was talking to Hybo the other night, and on a little podcast we have specifically for our B2B folks who are learning the game. And I was telling him that it's crazy because the last couple of years, like, I love Jonathan Taylor. I've had him on multiple teams the last couple of years, and he's been a bit of a disappointment. And now this year, the year I have 0 shares of him, he was crushing it. So not to give it a little small smash up plug, but because I didn't draft him on any of my season long teams, I've definitely been using him on a lot of my smash up lineups. I still get some benefit, but the Colts are good. They're not dying. Daniel Jones is playable. Taylor's playable. Warren has sort of put together the year that we all hoped the Bowers would have, and I still hope he has if he comes back healthy.
I still do, because on my terrible team, I do have Bowers, just to put that out there. Yes.
I have Bowers on almost every team. He's probably my most owned player. So if he can come back,
we need him, man.
Yeah,
we need him.
But like, how does he not? Right? I mean, this guy was a stud last year with Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, and I can't remember the name of the third quarterback.
It just seems to happen every year, man. Every year, I miss CMC. I had him during the injury year. Like it every year, guys. This happens to me where I'm getting a guy a year late and then seeing him go off the next year when this guy spurned me and he goes off again. Like, I take the gap year, and I'm doing it with Brock Bowers this year, man. Jaden Daniels hasn't been that great for me this year either. Being in and out of the lineup, I reached high on him. So that's another situation. And by the way, Hawk, I'm going to end this. I'm about to get out of here soon. But I would also say that something that I did talk to James about earlier was the fact that I'm actually having a situation where I'm thinking about, do I start Matt Stafford or Jaden Daniels? Now, I will tell him in the beginning of the year, this was blasphemy to me.
Absolutely.
Okay? Blasphemy. Like, I would never think of such a thing, right? Now I'm holding Matt Stafford on my bench and having Jaden Daniels and seeing Matt Stafford go for 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. I'm just watching the guy and I have Devontae Adams, so I have the opportunity of the stack. So right now, this week, I have Matt Stafford in my lineup with the Devontae Adams stack, and I have the chance to start Jaden, but it's not a home run. It's not the easy situation I thought it would be. What are your thoughts on that?
I had to go glance at the matchups to the side. I mean, I kind of knew who they were playing, but I just had to look at the projections and everything, because even hearing you say it, I understood in the back of my head why, but it sounded like blasphemy.
It sounded like blasphemy. Really absolute.
But it's not crazy, right? I mean, Seattle's got a halfway decent defense. that Washington team is banged up. They've never quite gotten the running game right. Bill has been a little bit disappointing. I was so excited when it looked like he was taking over, and he's had the one big week.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Nakua comes back this week, right? Puka is officially good to go for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nakua is back.
And I like the matchup. What are we playing? Like he's playing like New Orleans or something like that. I like the matchup, guys. Am I crazy for this? So I like the match. It might be a situation where I end up doing it, guys. Just biting the bullet. And then if Jaden gets 30 or 40 points, I'm going to be hating myself.
I'm looking just at, and this is with the smash up based scoring. So everyone's scoring will be different based on the league. But on smash up, Jaden's only hit 20 points twice this year. He has not been running quite as much as last year. He did have 1 week with week 1, he had 68 yards rushing, and week 6, he had 52 yards. Other than that, he hasn't had a big running week. And if I go to Matt Stafford here in his scoring, yes, Matt Stafford has been above 20 points 3 of the last 4 weeks.
I was going to say almost every game.
Yeah. It started. It's honestly, it's getting to the point, especially with the matchup. I won't blame you. I mean, look, it's hard. You want to lean on your studs, but we're getting far enough into the season that some of these things that felt like noise now are starting to be real. And so you can't stick with like your preconceived biases from week 1 as your team like gets run into the dirt. At some point, you've got to adapt. And I think it's totally reasonable to start Matt Stafford. And look, it's not like you're cutting Jaden. Start Matt Stafford.
No, for sure. And then coming off the injury week too, there's a couple contributing factors to this. The fact that I have Devontae Adams and have the stack opportunity with Stafford. The fact that Jaden is coming off injury, this will be his first game back. I like Seattle's defense, and I like Stafford's matchup. It's a lot of factors here.
Well, and you just have to hate the New Orleans defense. Like New Orleans is just getting smashed week in, week out. So
right. So how can I not start Matt Stafford against them? But this would just be the week I pay for it. But at the end of the day, like you said, I'm not cutting Jaden, and I'm pretty sure I'll be back in that starting lineup. But I like to have at least quarterbacks that I can have a defense dependable starting situation. You know what I mean? Like which quarterback is starting against which defense, and actually have that be a situation.
And then we've also got our I was looking to check. We've got our DraftKings lineups too. So
I won last week, guys. As a matter of fact, when I tell you I had a good week, I won last week. I'm looking for another win. And Chris, we got to get James over the line, man. Chris, you came in and won within your first couple of weeks here. Whereas James, we got to get you over the line here, man. Like that was going to be my final thought off this show, we
did. I'm as a matter of fact, as soon as I get off the show, I'm going to set my lineup this week. But there's a kind of curious matchup this week: Cincinnati versus Chicago. But
watch that be a fantasy shootout randomly. Like
there you go. I mean, with the weapons that Cincinnati has, and it's definite that Chase is Flacco's number 1 target.
Yep.
But when if you're down to like starting like say Swift or Brown, or maybe you have running backs, Chase Brown, Swift against Brown. What's your thoughts on that particular game and some of the key players there?
Well, that may be a shootout. I may, not to give any competitive secrets away to you two, I may have a few players from that game in my DraftKings lineup against you guys. So
okay. I got Swift in my home league, who's been very good, by the way, guys. Swift has been a solid play for me all year.
That's all right, Reggie. Late breaking news, but he has. I love Swift. I thought in the Ben Johnson would be good. The Bears have now officially ruled him out this week. So
oh no!
If you can, it's good. Go pick up. Apologize if I butcher the pronunciation here, but Mongai. I've got him
now,
starting.
What about this, guys? Because now I do have my. Wait. Oh no! And Travis Hunter's been placed on IR. I have him both. I have both of them.
Oh, so the crazy thing is, I think Swift he's been nursing an injury, but he's been playing through it to give him the week off. Hunter was just a fluke injury on Thursday. Like he didn't get hurt in the game. He was totally fine. I think they had a bye week last week too, and then all of a sudden on
and now he's
Thursday-
on IR. So this has just become a devastating week for me, guys. This has just become a devastating week. So now I'll tell you what, though, guys. Now, do I put my Willie Marks in? Now is Willie Marks going into DeAndre Swift's spot? Is that my Willie Marks spot now? Or because now I might have to play David Montgomery. Well, no, Charbonnet's already in.
Yeah,
maybe I put Willie Marks into my Swift spot and hope and pray for a miracle.
Yeah,
all right, and then now I got to replace.
Dynamic too with I suppose there's a lot of last second injuries this week, which actually 4 people in your home league, pick up the backups. They're out there. If you're in a DraftKings style league or on Smash Up, this does make a really interesting week because there are a lot of cheap backups we're going to be starting. Right, Mungai's out there on the cheap. De'Ami Brown's out there on the cheap, although maybe not as much of a guarantee. Travion Henderson is out there on the cheap with Stevenson being ruled out. So it's an interesting week where there's a lot of ways to set a lineup where you can snag some of these value players and save some of your budget and then lean into some more guys who are the top performers.
Man, this has been my week, man. This has just been it for me, guys. This is it, man. Like this is every single game I've had a missing player. Every single game, guys. Every single game in my home league. That's why I hate that league. Every single game in my home league, I've had like a missing player every single game. So I just checked with what Hawk just said, and I missed 2 players. Like I checked my lineup, and 2 players were gone. It wasn't just one. It was 2 gone. This is going to all right, guys. Well, I got to get out of here, guys, but I did appreciate this. This is amazing.
Your best lineup there, Reg.
My best lineup. Hold on. Let me go to my favorite kid, as a matter of fact, which is my keeper league. Just go ahead and go to my favorite kid. And this kid right here is going to be hard. You can't get, unless you're in a keeper league, this is going to be just difficult to have, unless you're in a keeper league. So let's go ahead and go over that real quick. Let's go to my team. Okay, this is my extraordinary gentleman team. All right, got Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, CD Lamb, Puka Nacua, George Kittle, David Montgomery, the Broncos defense, and my guy Chris Boswell, because I always have to have a Steelers player in there somewhere. He is in there as well. So that's, of course, my favorite lineup. Is I'm rooting. That team is going to get me to the promised land. I'm 6-2 right now, so I have took L's there, but I'm doing pretty good.
That's phenomenal. Good luck to you this week on everything except for DraftKings, where I hope I
Man, this week I'm going to dedicate my DraftKings as I get out of here, guys, to James. James, listen, James, I'm going to put in a lineup here for you. But when I put in my lineup, I'm going to be thinking about your W, James, because everybody on this show has had a W.
In the lineup as soon as we get off there. I'm putting in my lineup.
I'm hoping for you guys this week. Good luck, guys, in your leagues. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks. All right,
have a good one.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Chris, I'm not going to keep you much longer either. So give us kind of how your leagues have been doing. I missed you the last couple of days. Hey, man, I don't know how your neighborhood was, but, man, I had so many kids last night. It was amazing. We have a little there's like a treat map, where it kind of directs the kids, and we have one of those neighborhoods where everybody like decorates and everything and all that. So it's a good time for the kids and whatnot. And of course, me and my Reese's Pieces, I have to buy 2 for the kids and 3 for me. So
our neighborhood was similar. Don't have kids yet myself, but my couple of my close friends out here do, and so went to see. You can call my nephews, even though we don't have a blood relation. They call me Uncle Chris, and so went over with them. We all dressed up. It's 20-year anniversary of when me and some buddies went to Beta Breakers in San Francisco and dressed as the cast of the 1989 movie Major League, and so we I did it again last night. Went as Ricky Vaughn, the pitcher Wild thing, and went trick-or-treating with the kids. The costumes they have were amazing. The neighborhood was great. And then afterwards, went out with a couple of buddies and had a couple beers and just saw the adult costumes people had on. So Was made for a fun night. It was a good Halloween. It is actually one of my favorite times of year. And I've got to say, the thing that's crazy to me is that, we're in the middle of Chicago, kind of like the Lakeview, Lincoln Park area. Lots of, nice brickstones and houses and condo buildings over here. And it's kind of nuts that there are so, like, every house now decorates. It used to be people just decorated for Christmas, right? And now it feels like, every holiday people kind of really get into it. And so the level of just yards and Halloween decorations are crazy, except the only thing I said is I love horror movies now. I'm a little bit braver. As a kid, I used to be scared of anything. I was a little scaredy cat. And I got to tell you, if I was a kid walking around some of these neighborhoods, there are these like 6 foot tall, like demon statues and stuff people have in their yard. I would have completely like crossed the street and avoided them when I was younger. So they get pretty scary.
Very realistic, realistic. And nowadays with the LED lights and all of that stuff, man, they can get really, like you said, it used to be Christmas. Now, Valentine's, whenever people can get the excuse to kind of decorate up, it seems, but yeah, it is amazing to see the realistic goblins and demons that they have now. Some of you really would think, we always had the houses with the little crawling spiders and
we got a giant spider hanging from the balcony over here that lights up with some LED, but it's not that scary. But for our front yard, we didn't want to overly scare the kids. We got CVS had a inflatable Hello Kitty witch on like a broomstick, and we're like, hey, that's Halloween, but it's not going to scare any like 4 or 5 year olds in the neighborhood. So we went a little more PG rated with our Halloween decor.
Okay. Well, so what's your best matchup so far as Smash Up is concerned? I see you and I are 1-2 in the Sports Crib League here.
Yeah, so my best, I kind of like this one. So it's funny. Hybo and I are the ones setting the lineups for the campaign, but I also, have an account I use so I can play and like get to see the experience of going through the campaign. And so I kind of like my campaign lineup this week. I've been pulling it up here. I am going up against the Capital City Generals, team number 5, obviously very similar to the Washington Generals. And my team. Oh, is this? Did I pull up the right one here? Oh, sorry. 1 second. Let me pull this up. I have one lineup I like. So one of the cool and sort of creative things on Smash Up is that, unlike traditional DFS, we don't mandate that you have a specific construction to your lineup, right? If you decide that you want to leave out a quarterback. What am I doing wrong here? Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, if you decide you don't want to play the quarterback, you don't have to have a quarterback, right? You can just leave that out and save budget for other positions, which is fairly unique. Most, if you go on DraftKings, for example, you have to fill out every position. But here we go. So this week I took advantage of that. I actually didn't particularly like the quarterback matchups, and now I'm killing myself because I can't find my lineup. Give me 1 second, dude. Maybe I actually had this one in a league play. I'm seeing a Lamar Jackson lineup. Was it here? No. Was it in our league? Check my SPORTSKRIB lineup real quick. Oh, that was it. I kind of like this. All right, it's in our sports. So I'm going against you with this, right? I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom here. But in our SPORTSKRIB league, I did not start a quarterback. So I put no quarterback because I was using that hellacious halfbacks smash card that kills your quarterback points. You only get 25% of your quarterback points, but you get a bonus. You basically get your running backs. Every running back times 1.75. So I'm leaning into my running backs. Then starting Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Gibbs, and I started HN. And then I've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Trey McBride, the Chargers defense, and Fairburn. And then our Fairbarn. And then I also, as my second receiver, I'm starting Chimere Dike but with the special teams ace card. So I get all the points from his kick returns. And he's the league's leading kick returner. So he's been getting me, almost 30 points a week. It's been a really good combination. So I think I've got a really good shot this week. And I think that you and Reggie have your work cut out for you.
Okay. Well, I'll give you my sports crib league here. Going against you, I have Daniel Jones as my quarterback. Then I have Jonathan Taylor and Genty as my running backs. I have Jameson Williams and Pittman as my wide receivers. Hunter Henry is my tight end. My flex this week is Javonte Williams. My kicker is Bagley, and I played the Indiana defense. So I think I'm doing pretty good against you. I'll see. Cards.
It sounds like a good team. So we'll see how it goes between here and between DraftKings. We're gonna have a couple matchups to talk about next week.
Yeah. Like I tell you, I'm sick of you guys, like talking about that, so I'm just going to the only way I can do that is to go out and kick your ass. So
I think this is your week, James. I think Reggie's thinking positive thoughts for you. I'll be nice. I think some positive thoughts too. See what happens.
All right, man. Well, hey, glad to see that you could stop by. Looking forward to talking to with you guys next week, and maybe I'll put I'm slowly trying to find me a bag to put over my head for my Steelers with 4-3. I predicted that at the most we would have 8 games. It would be 8-9, but I'm leaning more towards 6-11 now. Especially the Redbirds are finally getting hitting their stride, and unless something really bad happens to Cincinnati, so far the Cincinnati's won the icy hot bowl against us, so we have to see how that works out. Like I said, it's not so much that I don't trust Rodgers. He's putting up 24 points a game, which was a lot more than I counted on. But we got a defense that's giving up 30 points a game. So, what can I say? But good luck to you and your 49ers this week, right? You're playing. Who are you guys playing this week? You got a tough game, right? Is it this week?
We do. It's it's the Giants. So not the best team, especially with Scatterboo going out, but they've been frisky. Their defense has been better, in particular the last few weeks. And Dart has given the offense just enough life that they gave the Chargers a run for their money. But
both of those were with Scatterboo.
What's that?
So, but both of those were with Scatterboo. So
yeah, that sucked. I feel really bad. He was, him and Dart were such a fun story.
Oh, man,
and now the Giants have lost him and Neighbors. That's a lot to take out of an offense.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So you guys should be able to do. Well, what about your defense, though, man? Did you lose a couple guys last week or one?
Every week we are just pulling. I mean, credit to Selah, like it's just next man up constantly, right? We keep losing players every single week, and we've lost basically all of our defensive ends. We've lost our linebackers. We've lost a couple of defensive backs, and right now, Rob is trying to keep this defense together with sticks and glue. So he's doing his best MacGyver job out there. I'll put it this way: I don't know what we would do without him, because our past couple DCs have been sort of mediocre, and I think any other mediocre. If we had a mediocre defensive coordinator this year, our season would probably already be over.
Yeah, you guys are still hanging in there. So, all right, man. Hey, good having you. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
We'll see you next week.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good day, man. See everyone next week. Glad to have Chris back. Good to having Reggie in. And hey, we look forward to talking to everyone next week and getting Reggie and Chris off my back here. So,
thanks, James. Good luck to you this week. We'll see you next Saturday.
All right, have a good one, man. See you guys next week.